Well, hello. Welcome to my channel. Doing some comic book illustration here on Donald Kent Arts. Um, if you're not familiar with this channel, I tend to say a lot. No, I don't. I'm kidding. I probably do, but I'm just making a joke. So, a little bit of penciling, a little bit of inking. Was talking to the producer, the financer of this awesome sauce comic, this graphic novel, and he was saying he'd like to advertise it in the Comicsgate community. Is that all, Frick? Get out of here. Howdy, friend. How's the weekend going for you so far? Well, happy to say it's actually starting off pretty good. I have I had one of these scenarios recently where it's just a lot of things kind of going wrong all at the same time, and a lot of these things have been getting resolved. Just life stuff, and so that's cool. That feels good to know that this and that are finding their way. You know, just how much of it is just. I would say that I really feel that I pray a lot, and like you get problems, and you got to kind of put it in God's hands. Essentially, that's how I look at it. Um, you can't just sit around waiting for something to happen. You got to move on it. But that just because you're moving on something doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work out for you. Um, but these issues have been coming around and working out. So I'm beginning to feel pretty good. Oh, and then a commercial comes on and ruins it. Da, 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 da. Welcome to the Donald Kent Show. Yay. Okay, so that's the end of that commercial. Um, so that's, I mean, these are big issues. They're real big issues in my life that I'm not going to talk about on the show. But suffice to say, I'm having a huge like whoo type like feeling right now in terms of you know n- feeling like I'm out of the I'm not really out of the woods yet, but I'm in a place where I know it's gonna be okay. I'll just put it that way. How about you? um this is the big weekend where there's like this fantastic house music parties going on, and I'm debating whether or not to go just because like I'm like a self sabotaging asshole. No, no, no. No, I don't know how to explain it, but I've just been in a kind of a mood. I don't know what it is. Like, there's just been so many heavy things coming down on me that like I'm kind of emotionally exhausted, you know, and that for me anyway, I think is it kind of lends itself to me shutting down socially a bit, not doing the go out crazy fun times thing, um even though it seems like I actually should, like it's like if I'm shit's going down, then like get out and shake your bones and do some fun stuff and flirt with the ladies and then all that. So I think it's really gonna depend. Like tomorrow night, if I'm like still in a funk or I'm ready to rock. You know what I mean? At the moment, I'm just really, really pleased with the this comics project. I'm getting close to wrapping up this first issue, and then I'll get paid, which is the getting paid part's nice, you know. And then I'll start the next issue. Is that ad blockers can do wonders? Yeah, damn it. You know, how many times have I said I'm gonna get Brave browser? It's like I come home from work and my head is not like it's in another place. I'm not like, first thing I want to do is get Brave browser. Da, da, da. I'm like, first thing I want to do is relax and then get down to the studio and do this, So whatever. Anyway, we'll get there, guys. It's not easy being retarded. So have mercy. Um, I really enjoy these sessions and hanging out with you gents. I actually shared the link to this show with some friends in the What Art Collective and our political friends, and so I'm kind of hoping that I get a surprise and somebody pops on to join the chat. So Ulfric says, "Yep, absolutely agree. We have to work towards our goals in life. Keep on keeping on. Keep at it, brothers. Stick and move. Stick and move." So it's funny that you should say that because I just posted a short clip on my path into the martial arts. It was part of a conversation had in one of the shows that I did with Patriarch, and he's been like taking clips of the show and just doing shorts essentially. So I think I gotta turn the music down a bit. I tell you, some new retro wave going down there. Western Kind says, I have a recommendation for programs that you may enjoy. Xavier Renegade Angel. What? That sounds like military talk. Um, like, you know, what's the one for fuck Joe Biden? I forget that one. But anyway, what can you expand on that a bit for me, bud? Explain that a bit. Anyway, what else? What else? Oh yeah, so I just shared that clip on my Twitter. If you guys want to check it out, um, yeah, I don't know that I want to repeat that whole story here, but um, anyway, so we got some pages to ink, and we're moving forward. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert Pyle has entered the room. Hail to my brother, the mighty Robert Pyle. Welcome aboard for another zany, wacky, crazy hour of Donald Kent and friends shooting the shit. So, good times, good times. Oh man, my back hurts a little bit though. So it's like I don't know. There is a trick to this, like sitting down for long hours. That is not the greatest thing for your back, actually. But I don't know. The work's got to get done, bros. Brohim. So I heard that term broheme on a movie about like Irish gangsters in, I think, Philadelphia. And I just like, I've been using it ever since, but like I've never heard of it. I never heard it used by anyone. And like people normally don't register when I use it. I think it sounds kind of cool though. So yeah, guys, Texas, man, this is a great. Texas is like our Ireland or something, you know. It's like where the shit's kicking off. So I'm really happy with what's happening in Texas. Yeah, all the farmers are down there now. Um, there's like three locations where they're you know, you get the idea. Looks like Germany or France right now. Angel is a program. Let me read this. That ran for 2 seasons on Adult Swim, and it's a 3D. Oops, I just missed it, lost it. Adult Swim. It's a 3D rendering, tongue-in-cheek philosophical exploration of esoteric nonsense. Well, that sounds pretty neat. Has anyone seen the interview with Mike Enoch did with Mark Collette on TRS? It just came out. Not with Mike Enoch. He just had Warren Balo on, and I've been meaning to sit down. I haven't had the time yet. I'm fucking running crazy. I'm way more of a Warren Balo guy than I am a Mike Enoch guy. I'm not trying to throw shade on him or whatever, like anyone gives a shit what I think. But you know, Warren Balo is the man. You know. Anyway, if you want to do Western Kind says if you want to do another section where you react to videos, then I have another equally cringy. Oh no, dude. That's nah. You know, I mean, I get the sense of humor or whatever, but like, I'm still traumatized by the sexy vegan video that you tricked me into watching. Sexy vegan, oh yeah, come on, girl. Ooh, don't you like a vegan man? Nice and skinny and doesn't wear deodorant, no. Ooh, I just made up the song. I'm being an ass. I'm sorry. Like, okay, it's like I got dropped on my head as a baby, and then I just can't function normally anymore. That's not true. That never happened. Um, but anyway, yeah, you should like warn them what they're gonna watch before you tell them who you know about this goofy. I guess that's what like Antifa must be like, you know, where they're like, you know, people who don't bathe and like don't eat meat and you know, hey baby. Anyway, I'll stop that. I'm not gonna keep talking about that. I like Warren too. He was one of my favorite speakers at NJP. Yeah, I know. It's crazy because I was invited to NJP so many times. Um, I like it's with my life as a single dad. It's not really the easiest thing to just like go on a road trip, you know, and like do that kind of stuff. As much as I support it and I want it, and that I'm told that people in NJP know who I am and respect me, and you know, I mean, I was invited on a couple occasions, so like presumably I'm somebody, I guess. You know, I feel that my celebrity, I don't have any celebrity, my my notoriety, I don't know, my position or whatever is kind of like slipping away though, because like after just the whole like you know uh when our collective thing is sort of scattered into different people doing their own things, and it's not plus like when my mom passed, that just was a nuclear bomb in my life, and I completely, you know, it was just like I stopped doing content for God, I mean, like almost a year. I don't know. I don't even really remember how long I was out of the game. Where I was doing like 3 shows a week. Um, I still am pretty good friends with like a lot of like top influencers that are happy to jump on like anytime, and do like a show about something if there's a show or a theme or something. Um, I'll be honest, I'm starting to have second thoughts about starting up a regular art theme show, just because like the way my life has been, I'm super overwhelmed. I'm not going to get into my personal life and what's going on, but I need things have to like things have got to kind of clear out a bit before I can really get into a normal routine. So, as much as it kind of pains me to say that, that's actually what's going on for now. Um, I'll still be doing these streams. I'll still be doing the Patriotic Art Live show with Patriart in on Tuesdays. But like I've discovered that like trying to get people to commit to a schedule and do stuff is just seems to be harder and harder. Um, and then like if you can't pull the schedule together or whatever, then like you're kind of stuck with your pants down kind of deal. And I'm sort of like I got some very very serious real life things to manage right now. So I have to focus on that, um, and I will. But I'm not going away or whatever. I'm here. I'm just in kind of a lower level production mode, if you will. I don't know what else to call it. Um, it's funny because I actually have an interview with Josh Neal scheduled on Sunday. Um, I'm probably still going to do it. Um, I'm recording it. It's not going to be a live show. Um, and then I suppose I'll probably just, once I'm kind of ready to kick things off again, then I'll pull out the interview, because it's on a theme. It's not like, what do you think about the thing that's happening right now? It's on like broader, universal, timeless themes. Like which came first, the chicken or the egg? I guess if you're vegan, you're not going to want to watch the show. All right. Is that Splattercat? Get out of town. Oh my god. All right. Now I'm feeling much better. Now I'm in a much better mood. That Splattercat's here. Good stuff. How we doing, Splatter? Or do you prefer cat? Don't feel compelled to comment on that either. Oh, I gotta go back a little and ready. Um, sorry. I really appreciate you guys hanging with me. This is really cool. If you want to do another set, no, let's see, Mike Painovich. Yeah, I know, I've heard about that. Things are heating up in our country as well as in the white nationalist world overall. A lot of crazy shit going on, big time. They probably stink from all the soy. Yeah, yeah. The chicken preceding the egg of the chicken. See, it's kind of like you gotta get a job so you can buy a car that gets you to the job that pays for the car, which in turn gets you to the job so that you can have a car, which you pay for by going to your job. And therefore, so that's life. When I was like, I don't know how old I was, and I kind of put that little scenario together, I'm like, that's life, that's adulthood. Fuck that. I was like, I'm opting out of that. But of course, you can't really. unless you're living off the land. Woo! Oh boy. You know what? So like I guess I can kind of get into some aspects of this life change stuff. And that would be my own personal revelations, conclusions, epiphanies that I feel very much like I'm in a state where I want to kind of, and I don't mean this in the wrong sense, but sort of abandon myself, my former self. You don't talk about these things, your personal whatnots, on a show or whatever, but like there's a lot of stuff that happens in life. I had a series of like very serious traumas throughout my life that you know I all kind of compiled into who I am. And there's just a very 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 massive amount of pain in that. And I don't want to be like pain guy, I don't want to be like deeply damaged inside. I want my spirit to be free and uplifted. I feel like you can't really progress in life in any sense, like materially, spiritually, psychologically, and on, unless you frankly have some kind of a healing process. So I do a huge amount of research on esoteric things, spiritual things, um, paranormal things. And throughout, I mean, you guys don't know how much of this stuff I consume. It's like, you know, and how many years I've been doing it. So like it's just really, really, really a huge part of my life. And it's kind of like, like you're researching all this stuff, and all this stuff, but like if you're not happy, what fucking good is it? It's like that line in what's that movie? No Country for Old Men. If you the rule you followed brought you to this, what good was the rule? You guys probably know that. Of what use was the rule? And it's not all black and white. I mean, there's times when you're doing good and you're excelling, and you're just heavy happens. You get sick. Someone in your family is dying. Like there's some big shit that can go down in life. And that's where you're really tested. You know what I'm saying? So that's the kind of stuff I'm going through. Um, so I have this. I did some very very serious prayer. I'm almost kind of like, yeah, shit. Should I even talk about this? I guess how I can talk about it is that through prayer, I kind of came to a certain mantra that really came to me, that I feel is like uh, divinely inspired. And that mantra is simply, I love you, I forgive you, I release you. And it sounds probably a little weird on a like like a white identity ethno nationalist channel to talk about things of this nature. But it's I like the deep stuff. I like the spiritual things. I like to go into that kind of area. You know, um, I suppose, like there are people in our sphere that are like this, that like to get into this kind of thing, like Philosopher Cats, uh, Jason Giorgiani, you know, Tyler Hamilton. It's sort of where philosophy and spirituality meet. Um, and I think for my own development, progress, uh, peace of mind, freedom, all of that. Um, Boy, this music suddenly got real funky dunky. Um, there's been a lot. What happens is like bad things happen when you're young, and then you make bad decisions, and then those lead to more things, and you just get like when my dad died when I was 18, it just catapulted me into the abyss. And um hence my interest in trying to learn these kind of spiritual things. um should I stop talking about this? Is this weird or something? I don't know. Seems odd to you guys. I don't know. But and it's like if I could tell you what's actually going on in my life, you'd be like, okay, I get it now. Like because it's very fucking serious. Um, and so I'm just in that headspace. I will say it has to do with death. Um, so like I'll just stop there, kind of deal. But like when you're coming in contact with that, shit gets real. Shit gets very, very real. And one of the things that I understand is that when you die, you you essentially everything in a sense is can be kind of thought of as a resonance. Um, this is actually scientific. There that one can explain the universe in terms of resonance or vibration on the quantum level. And you can research that stuff. I'm not going to do like a lesson on that or whatever. But your resonance as a person is the quality and value of the thoughts that you think, the feelings you have, the words you speak, the actions in your life, and all of those things culminate and have an impact on the things that happen to you in life. Oh, here comes a commercial, just to just to like throw me off. But anyway, I know. Anyway, so you really, if I just feel that like if you've got some kind of demons inside, whatever they might be, you don't want to kind of go throughout your life like that. You have to resolve it. You got to let it go. And that's essentially what I'm trying to do. And the demons or whatever, it's not like literal demons, but um letting go of all this trauma is essentially what it boils down to. Um Speedrunners here. Wow, welcome speedrunner. Great to have you on here. And you came right in like a real serious conversation. I usually just talk about shallow, stupid thing. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm all over the place on this show. The other guys on the chat can probably give you the lowdown, but welcome anyway. We're talking quantum resonance. Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, wow, I'm glad that you're aware of such things. So, um, I'm gonna kind of get back to my train of thought on this. As I say, and you guys have heard me on this show say this before, only you can live your life and only you can die your death. And as a person who believes in reincarnation and that we're moving from uh, one life to the next, to the next, to the next, and a kind of eternal evolutionary play, if you will. Um, you want to transcend suffering. You want to transcend suffering, um, and it's a thing that you can kind of consciously think that you beat it, but subconsciously it's still in there, and it kind of I feel like that's where how do I say, that's where the rubber meets the road or something, that like that's the real shit, like who you are is way way down deep in there, and the people we know in our families, our friends, work, whatever, life, um how can I say, like, you might love or hate them. Like, I'll just kind of get into this a little bit. Let's say, for example, like, at one point I finally figured out that, like, Antifa and these types of people, like the so-called transsexuals, all that shit, they're deeply damaged people. They're deeply, deeply damaged people. And the Marxists love that. In fact, they probably had a hand in socially engineering that damage. But the point I'm making is that once you fuck somebody up, as a child, then they are very malleable. They're very easy to control. You can press their buttons and, kind of like weaponize them, which they have and they do. So, like, I thought, like, when we win, we have to make sure that this type of trauma cannot happen to our people, and that they don't become these weird things, um um I mean, there's we they do very very shitty things, and we hate them for it, you know what I'm saying? But you kind of have to see past your own emotional reaction and say, like, why are they behaving this way, and I mean, I'm just using them as an example because, like, we're not like, we're not above that. We're just different. We handle our pain in a different way. Who are you? You ever ask yourself that? Yeah. So this is kind of, I mean, that's in the neighborhood of this type of conversation. And I could go into that stuff as well. But I guess all I'm sort of saying is that, like, I, how do I say, like, how do I put this? Oh man, it's so hard to talk about this without, like, just spilling the beans or whatever. But oh boy, I guess I'm just kind of saying, like, I want to live a more authentic and happy life. You know, um, and I'll not only will I, function better, but I'll be better for other people who need me. Which is everybody from, first person, of course, is my son, but also people in the movement. You guys and the rest. Um, this music is just so tacky too. It's like not the right soundtrack for this conversation. Um, this kind of like funny '80s saxophone solo. Not quite the soundtrack I was looking for. Um, so this character right here in the graphic novel, his name is Demon Rat, and that's obviously a play off of the meme of Democrat Demon Rat. He's this whole story, this whole graphic novel is a mashup of like political pop culture. Um, it's got like lots of fun, crazy aspects to it. Lots of what do you call them? Easter eggs and whatnot. Mm, um, but that's funny about the question about asking like, "Who are you?" So like, I noticed that I can't look at in a mirror and look in my own eyes and say, "I love you." Like I can't do that. And I'm like, that scared the shit out of me when I tried that. And I heard about that in one of the streams that I was watching. And I thought, what the fuck? Why can't I do this? This is like very wrong and kind of weird. And then I realized it's like I'm I guess angry at myself for like the bad decisions that I made in my life and all the damage that was the consequence of it. I'm not the Buddha. I'm human, so you do shit. And but I will say I feel like you know well, we have beliefs about ourselves. Like, oh, okay, my dad died when I was 18, therefore the rest of my life is ruined and I'll never be happy and blah 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 blah. And you can't, of course, you can't. You tell yourself consciously, "Oh no, I don't think like that, and I wouldn't do that, and I won't do that, and da da da." But subconsciously, you do. And that's what I meant about like that's the kind of the real you. Um, and what is the quality of the guy who says, "I'm me," who is this person? It's cultivating self awareness. That where you're going here is very Buddhist, which I like because I my followers or whatever subscribers know that I have a deep background in Buddhism. I lived in Asia for 5 years. But I don't think it's exclusively a Buddhist question. It's like it's a philosophical question. But I mean, I feel to a certain extent like I know who I am. It's more the question of what do I do with this guy? Like, Um, I mean, I even thought about like what about abandoning Donald Kent and like not even doing this show or being involved in the movement. I mean, I went that far as to think like, you know, um, what about, I just kind of like thinking through those things and like, what about my relationship to this movement is harming me? And I know that there's a lot of people that have tried to shut me down for political reasons. And they claim to care about me or whatever, but it's really just, you know, like it's political. So like, the whole, just don't do anything and watch football or some shit. But this music totally does not fit the conversation. Which is kind of funny. That's kind of Donald Kent in a way too, because I have a lot of I like to laugh. I like to make people laugh and see the sense of humor in some things. But anyway, do I? Yeah. Once I realized that I was back to being a liberal, hmm, I missed the point here. I do, and I own everything. There you go. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. You must eat the bugs. Uh, yeah, you're going down some interesting rabbit holes here. The body, the mind, the soul. So, in the shows that I've been frequenting, there's a lot of discussion. I'll see if I can hopefully represent these ideas fairly or well, but about what you are. So, I like to take the approach of talking about things on like an atomic level that we know that all matter is energy and that energy cannot be destroyed, it can only be changed. And then additionally, that comes back to that thing I was talking about, frequency, vibration. I don't so much like to use the word vibration because it's kind of has a hippy dippy sort of quality to it. But the more if you demystify that, it's not like so hard. And like I said, the quality of your thoughts. Let's say, for example, you're in a space, whatever it could be, your job or somewhere in public or something, and someone is there and you get like a weird vibe from them. That to me makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I this guy's giving off very negative vibes or something, or maybe this person seems to be, and even outwardly that can appear very, angry or depressed, or there's something's wrong. Um so what I focus on more or less is the nature of the mind. I feel like that is the starting point for me, at least, to this whole, like, I'm not worried so much about the question of who are you, but what are the parts of you that are running your life. And so, like, there's part of your mind, for example, that is kind of chattering all the time, and that, you know let's say, if you're I would say the true self is really the higher self, or the God self, which is your consciousness. It's just the observer. It's not, because that's the root and the origin of existence and being. Um, I think of us as the ideation of God. Um, but again, I'm not trying to get all abstract and like out there on these philosophical curves, but rather, in what way can I have a practical understanding and practice of, you know managing myself, I guess. My biggest, not biggest fear, but like the thing that I don't that I kind of makes me not want to talk about this, is because it ends up sounding preachy, and I'm not trying to like tell anybody how to live or whatever. I'm just sort of musing on the shit that I think about. That's all. I know what my beliefs are or what have you, but like, it just comes off like I'm telling people what to do or think, I guess. I guess gonna have to look for some music that doesn't have freaking stupid commercials every 10 seconds. I mean, those are frequent. Did you notice that? That's like very frequent commercials on that. Okay, we're gonna find something cool. In 10 seconds, let's try. Should we try Cyber City? Ooh, Undercover in Paradise. It's got the kind of like, what's that, Miami Vice sort of flavor to it. Um, all right, that's loading. So I think we're gonna check the chat real quick, because it seems like you guys are flying on some interesting topics here. Los hilos de entretenimiento. That is a very hard thing to say, but welcome to the show. Um, Too much free time can be destructive. Just hanging out, yeah. What's shaking with you radicals tonight? Maybe I'll get off this topic though a bit. So I'm pretty excited about what's going on in Texas right now, and I've been sort of, listening to, paying attention to, piecing together, uh, how what's going on with Trump and all of this. He's, responding to it in ways that are really going to impact. the election. It seems, if of course it's not stolen or something of that nature, which I expect it to be. But I mean, I don't think they can steal it anymore. I think at this point, the cat is so totally out of the bag that they've got to do something really fucked up. And I have like I totally believe they will. And when I say fucked up, I mean like shutting down the internet and just going full throttle with NATO versus Russia and Chinese invasion. I mean, I don't, excuse me. I know that those are extreme things, but at the same time, we're in it, guys. This is the end game kind of shit. So I don't think that that's extreme at all to say those things. I'm not saying they're going to happen. That they're like you know inevitable or coded into reality or the blah blah blah. I'm not trying to say that. However, it's sort of like I feel like it'd be a miracle if those things did not happen, and I'm praying for that miracle. Like I don't want those things to happen, obviously. Um, but it's just wild, man. It's just really wild to see. Okay, so for example, on Telegram on the Steve Bannon channel, there is a documentary of the. It's essentially these filmmakers that they're like Americans, white guys that work for Project Veritas, and they are doing the entire trek with the illegal aliens and like documenting the whole thing and exposing the entire thing and showing how like NATO is behind it all and just there's very very many things going on. There's a huge Chinese involvement in the entire process. The Chinese themselves have like cushy Chinese hotels that they stay at. um there's a lot of interaction with very very dangerous cartels that are just like routinely rape women that are in these caravans. um People getting murdered. It's if I mean it's an amazingly horrible thing that's going on. Not like I mean I care about the country. I don't want these people here, da da da. But the shit that is going down. So my point, I guess I'm making here is that like the UN is they talk about this like, oh, it's a humanitarian crisis and we must help them and here's money and that's not at all what it is. It's just clearly wide open. I mean, it's just exposed as being the invasion that it is, and pointing out who the enemies are and the rest of it. So it's so much worse than what I think the common person sort of knows about, and it's just shit is so off the charts right now. It's crazy. So I don't know. So there's that. So seeing Texas go directly against the federal government, seeing all these other states coming to their aid, hearing Trump calling for these states for any and all states to support Texas in any way, like meaning sending the National Guard, etc. It's a lot of it is manpower. There's a lot of National Guard on these things, and what it sounds like at the moment is that, um, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like what it sounds like is going to happen is that there's a sort of a war between the states and the federal government. And I'm like, how would that look? Like, what would that? What like how is that going to pan out? How would that even look? So because, like, of course, Biden. I mean, think about it. The fucking Supreme Court says, yeah, Biden can he can require Texas to stop preventing these illegals from. Our country's a fucking joke, man. It's a fucking nightmare. We know. I mean, the country itself isn't. It's the infiltrators, right? It's the people that have blah 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 blah. You guys know what's going on. So yeah, so it's kind of like it's coming. It seems to be coming to a head. One thing that I think is kind of interesting is how the farmers in Germany and France are kicking ass in terms of like what they're doing, the civil disobedience. I'm watching footage of them like spraying manure on riot police and stuff. It's fucking hilarious. Um, so yeah, it's wild, wild times. And then of course there's that I mentioned on the show I think last night that there's this known terrorist um, coming in and always sort of bragging like, "Oh, you will know who I am. You will know my name," and all this shit that I'm expecting like mad Muslim terrorism, like a ton of it, like fairly soon. In Canada, there was a Muslim dude who shot up, I think, a bank or something. I never remember these kind of details, but the point of it is that the person who posted this story was saying, the Canadian media did not point out that this guy was screaming things, that were like, Allah Akbar, that kind of shit, and like, saying that this is for Palestine. So they're taking revenge on us because of our government's support of Israel. And you know, you get you can see where that's going. It's not funny. I'm not laughing at it or whatever. What I'm essentially saying is like that's their reasoning. Let's look at some chat action here. We got a lot of talking going on here. People are sold on the idea of banknotes as a convenience. Heavy gold commodities. We've always had money, fractional loaning, banking fraud. That's a whole other rabbit hole. Ever since before this, system because of gold and hey, T Rad Dad, welcome. Barter and trade. Currency made everything local very tight. What are they? Have you guys heard of goldbacks? Do you know what goldbacks are? So they're literally money with gold uh, sort of woven right into it. And there are some places around America that legitimately use goldbacks in their communities. I know they do it in New Hampshire. Um, it's a kind of a like what do you want to call it? Apocalypse money, I guess, if you will. That like when the shit hits the fan or something, that kind of thing. Um, yeah, but it makes more sense than the dollar, which is obviously kind of just paper in many ways, right? Um, oh, I'm not, I'm not versed in economics very well. Like I know a lot of people that are, but it's not really my area of expertise. So it's not something I would talk much about. I'm obviously open to hearing and learning, whatever. But so, quite literally, we're being invaded by armies of other countries. That's quite literally what's going on. So like within the coming year, you can see, you know, I think when when it's time for the left to pull out the stops, then all of those soldiers are gonna they'll be everywhere in America at the same time. And the Chinese specifically are gonna have like probably the biggest advantage in terms of like intelligence. And you got to imagine these people are going to be well armed, and it could literally be just like a gigantic guerrilla war. And obviously nightmare scenario. It's not at all what anybody wants. I would say that is much that's like almost inevitable in Europe. Europe is so fucked up. I hate to say that. I don't mean it, you know, in any kind of bad way. But I'm really scared for Europe. um, Buddha pills. I need a gong. But then we all sell ourselves for money. I'm like, "Whatever." Donald's currency is amazing art. Ah, that's nice of you to say. Now, how about a little art show? I'll give you guys a little look at the work I've been doing. I believe I did this last night. Um, Maybe zap out just a touch more, or maybe not. Just go through some pages. What's fun actually is to look at the old pages because like there's a couple issues of this before I started doing this. I this project started like maybe 2 years ago. I really like that panel. I think that looks beautiful. But and then the money ran out for quite a long time, and then we're back at it. Um, so let me pull out some old pages and just kind of enjoy. Or I could pull out some comics, some fun comics, and you know have a nice little show with any. I mean, I've got tons and tons of comics here, and art books, illustration books. Um, Tons of fun stuff. But I'll start off with my own work here. Um, Throw out a few pages at you. I actually showed this on another stream, but not all of you guys were there at the time. So if you're my brother in Western kind, then we are as organs in the same body. Black pill. What's black pilled? The war stuff I was talking about. The Lizard Man subscription. I thought that you were my dog, but you turned out to be a snake. I really should be reading the chat to know the context of these things. But then we also, well, anyway. I'll just show you the work and let you guys talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. That's kind of cool. Um, these pages, when they're colored, look freaking sweet too. Like when they're digitally colored. Oh my god, it's nice stuff. I don't do the coloring. We hire a guy to do that. Um, maybe a few more pages. Um, this is kind of cool. Yeah, yeah, a few more pages. Um, so this is one of the characters called Brainstorm, and she's like a sort of type of a psychic that can control people's minds. That type of superhero. One thing it's a little weird, but like I can't really place my style or my influences. I mean, a lot of people say that my work has like a 70s quality to it, which is totally fine and good because I like comics from that era. And I'm very sure that that comes through. But I don't know that I could say that this does my work look like anybody else's work. I don't know. I don't think so. You guys think watch a lot of you want to talk about kung fu? Dude, you probably don't. I mean, if you're new to the channel, but like I've studied, I've done kung fu for 25 years, and I've run a sparring club for 9 years. So like, I could talk some serious kung fu if you want to go down that road. But I'll let you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Well, hello, Nolia Tapia. Welcome to the show, Nolia Tapia. Hola. How are you this fine evening? Just doing some comic book inking here with this superhero graphic novel. Um, a little review of some pages and look at the story. Uh, Whenever I have someone new on the show, I try to get them acquainted a little bit with the art and what I do. Um, Poignant weasel character. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The weasel character, right? Like I said, this character is called the Demon Rat. He can like transform into a rat, and he's got sort of vampiric powers. You can probably make certain assumptions about him that would be correct. Ugh. Anyway, this character is called Capital Pig, and on both of his lapels, he has like a Democrat and Republican button. So like he owns both parties. These guys. This is part of the deep state, the swamp rather. Like clean the, like drain the swamp. These guys are part of the swamp. Um, a lot of fun, cool action going on. All right, speedrunner, keep on rocking in the free world. Adios, amigo. So yeah, they got some cool stuff going on here. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna jump back into the production work here. If there's anything you guys want to chat about or ask me about, feel free. I'm always open. It seemed kind of like you guys were really getting into some stuff on your own there, so I was kind of took a break for a bit. Hmm. Maybe, yeah, this is what we'll do. I'm going to get into the next panel here. Western Kind says, did you see that commercial where the guy sucks Dorito dust off the fingers of the other guy? That this was like a white and a black guy. Is that the one you're referring to? If I'm right. Um, Pretty demoralizing.
if I'm right, if I'm thinking of the right one. Um, it's it essentially like the anti-white narrative in commercials, movies, TV, Netflix, etc., is just getting more and more and more like off the charts. It's just like like you try to imagine being at like a say like a bar or something, and that commercial comes on, and everyone sees it out of the corner of their eye, and then in their head they're thinking like, what the fuck, like that's fucking disgusting and revolting, and it's insulting as hell, but somehow they kind of grind their teeth and they don't say anything about it, you know what I mean? But and instead what happens is they kind of tune it out, they sort of tune it out in the sense of like, TV sucks, everything sucks, I'll just kind of like go on with my life and ignore it because I don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, and it's white racial awareness and all this stuff. I don't want to be different. I don't want to. Whites don't even know how to talk about being white. It's fucking ridiculous. So when you see shit like that, you've got to say something, got to do something about it, and normalize complaining about it if you can, in whatever way that you feel is like appropriate for the situation at the time. You know what I'm saying? Um, and there's been occasions where I'd be out with some friends, and that's exactly the kind of deal. Like some shit like that would come on TV, and like immediately I'll start narrating the commercial and mocking it out, and sort of talking about how like you know whatever interracial couples or this or that or the other thing, um and how like the white guy is always made to look stupid and all this shit, so it's up to us guys. I mean, we're out there, we're more obviously educated, we know what's going on, and so like silence is compliance kind of thing, it's that kind of a deal. I think the best way to approach it is through humor. um I was talking the other night about this Canadian comedian who literally makes like racist jokes, and he's hugely popular. And I mean, not only just like he's like Arabs and blacks and Chinese and like people of color like his content, like they laugh their asses off at it. And it's hard to believe, like, how did this guy get, how, like it just is crazy. But it's sort of, I think in the world of comedy specifically, you know, you have to keep breaking the rules and like, finding new frontiers to talk about or joke about or something. It's at first it's this and then it's that. And right now, what's the most taboo thing that you can't talk about? Well, it's race. So if you're a professional comedian, that's the go-to topic for you. Um, so we'll see how that pans out, but whatever. Uh, it just came to mind for some reason. I haven't watched TV in years. I have no idea. I don't even have TV anymore. Um, that's a whole other topic. I will watch movies from time to time on Tubi. Tubi is like free movies on the internet. You can go to tubi.com, and they don't have the best movies, unfortunately. I've probably watched all the best ones, but there's some interesting documentaries and stuff. But Maybe I'll zoom in on this scene here. Um, Getting into the spooky sci-fi music now. Sort of a Blade Runner vibe. So, uh, let's see. I have my DVD collection that I watch sometimes, and I watch movies on YouTube. I watch a ton of YouTube. But I mean, they're not movies. They're interviews, lectures. I've been you guys know I've been getting a bit into Gnosticism. Um, I research a ton of things on UFOs and paranormal things as well. And really, all of that's on YouTube. Let's see, that's about it. I haven't. Occasionally, I'll jump over to like Goyam TV TV or maybe uh, Rumble. You know, um, it just kind of depends on what's on and like what is the thing that I'm looking for. It's more about the topic. I mean, I'll watch movies on archive.com, or .org, whatever it is, you know, if I can find something cool. There's a lot of weird, obscure stuff on archive.org that's pretty neat, interesting to watch, look up. So I'm pretty shocked at the numbers I'm getting on these videos. Like today, I'm not as talkative as I am on most of the streams. I started off very talkative, but then you guys were getting into some conversation. I just thought I'd let you, just do whatever you're doing. Um, but yeah, like geez, I don't know. I'm just getting a lot of activity, a lot of views. I'm sure they're not for the whole 2 hours or whatever. There's like a watch rate that YouTube will show you. You guys are the hardcore. Like I have a lot more. I don't know, subscribers or watchers or fans, whatever you want to say, but they lurk. They don't really talk much in the chat or what have you. It's nice when people kind of pop in and say hi. I think that's great. Um, but like we've got a fairly nice little cozy group here. So I'm thinking like, oh, I don't have a lot of fans, but I have the best fans, and that matters. It's quality, not quantity, folks. Get with the program. Anyway, the candle that burns twice as bright burns half as long, Roy. And you have burned so very, very bright, haven't you? I want more life, Father. There's two versions of that, by the way. One where he says, I want more life, Father, and another one where he says, I want more life, fucker. And like that got cut out of the scene. But we're talking about Roy Batty in Blade Runner. Um, I saw Blade Runner when I was in 8th grade, and it fucking changed my life. It like blew my mind. Partly because I was right at that, like, I don't know. It's like there's something about 8th grade or whatever, that age, what have you, that especially for a young artist, you're kind of coming into your own as a person in some ways, and creatively, I'd already kind of been into comics and sci-fi and this and that, and my very, very imaginative, building my own world and my mind and my art, etc. And then I see that movie and kablam, like, wow, it blew me out of the water. I was kind of speechless for like a few hours after it. I was just really, really jolted. Just completely taken away into this other world. It's interesting, just how artists have specific pieces, and it could be literature, movies, what have you, that had a profound impact on who they are as artists. And that could be actors, filmmakers, songwriters. It's an interesting topic. Um, my step grandfather would say it's better to be assumed to be an idiot than to open your mouth and to remove all doubt. Yeah. Well, I am what I am, I, but be I an idiot, genius, or in between? Perhaps lurkers fear judgment or are content to participate vicariously. That's a really good point. I don't have RoboCop though. Da, da. So I assume so. Like my stream, my channel is very much into like the comics algorithm, and anybody who's into comics or drawing, learning how to draw comics, etc. They tend to get this channel in their feed, and they'll pop in and see what it's about. And then when I'm talking about like, white rights and politics and shit, it probably scares off like a fair amount of people. Um whatever, like this is who I am, this is what I am, what I do, whatever. I'm not like trying to make this just another art stream. It's You get what I'm saying. So, um, but I'm kind of just assuming like that's probably what happen. That probably happens a lot. I guess, you know. I don't know. Um, I don't know if there's a way to know exactly who came, you know, and I mean it would be a lot to go into every single channel and try to figure out who's watching my show or whatever. I do a little research on that. Um, so something I tend to talk about a bit is how like I wish I could be doing more, you know, for the movement, something that was making real change and these kinds of things. Um, but then being overwhelmed as I am, with real life things, it forces me back a bit. And I kind of wonder, like, is that a sort of a cosmic thing here? Am I supposed to be, you know, pulling back? Am I, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to, you know, but I just essentially am forced to, you know. Um, that one is one of the millennial woes favorites. He talks about that a lot. Civilization. I gotta check this out. In the jungle, will the tiger stop gnawing on your flesh to allow you time to draw? Civilization taming the jungle brings forth the opportunity for appreciation of art. Yeah. Um, you know, culture, of course, is comes after you've got all your needs secured. You know what I'm saying? And like, you get the idea. Um, the fucked up thing too is just like the way the system is set up. You don't have time to do anything. You're just running and running to survive. You know, it's fucked up. It's not useless. It's good to know little things like that. That's cool. All right. Mm. Oh, I'm just not that talkative here, guys. What's wrong with me? Um, there's a lot on my mind. Um, I don't know. I'm sort of questioning myself. Like, should I just be blathering my, you know, what do you call it? Like, just stream of consciousness? Is that like crazy of me to do that? I'm a big Jack Nicholson fan. I have a lot of his movies. Shining Batman. I'm a massive Jack Nicholson fan too, guy. That's good stuff. Mucho goodo. Um, I saw an interesting clip of him the other day. I don't know what film he was making at the time, but he was doing an interview, and somebody called during the interview, and it turned out to be his wife actually, and they were planning like a dinner party that night, and she had to call and ask some questions about the guests. He was just like whatever, you know. And he was so sweet to her. He was so sweet to her, and it's just like not the Jack Nicholson that like it's just it's kind of charming. It was a neat thing to see. But what I found funny about it was how he's in the middle of an interview and he answers the phone, and I think like in those days when the phone rang, for some reason it was like a cosmic law that you had to answer it, like the phone's ringing, like somehow or other you just had to answer it, I don't know why, but and then I've been kind of catching clips from The Shining, a really interesting Shelley Duvall uh clip of her just talking about like there's certain types of filters that they use, and the one that what's his face, help me out, what's the fucking guy's name, uh the director used was not the correct lens for a film of this kind, and the result of it was that it warped their faces. It warped the spatial dimensions of their faces. And like the Shelley Duvall, it was like, oh my God, you're making me look like so weird. And it's kind of a girly kind of thing, like, oh, can't you use this kind of lens? And Kubrick, thank you. See, you guys, man, teamwork makes the dream work, okay? But it's that's kind of cute, that she's complaining about it. But she recognized that obviously, it was a very great artistic decision to do this. It created more of a nightmarish quality to the film. And like these are things that you and I wouldn't know anything about, that kind of technical stuff. Um, but my well, something I had heard about the film is that it was like a fairly traumatic experience for her. I guess Jack Nicholson was kind of like in character in between takes, and he was like like really cruel to her, like mean to her or something. And you can tell she's obviously like a very sensitive, delicate person, you know. So, but I think what compounded it is that Kubrick is a pretty hard director. Uh, he's very, he's just, he's very hardcore. He has a very clear vision of what he wants. And, there were some cool clips. It's essentially like an Instagram page of like Kubrick, and just the stuff that he clips of him, that are rare and hard to find, but I find like super, super interesting. Um, I've like, it's my dream to do film. Like I've been wanting to do film since I was young. Like I just want to get into that so bad. I've done some dumb, college, you know, college level films and stuff with friends and things. Nothing I would want to show, but I think I could be a good actor. I believe that I could. This guy reminds me of the movie Heavy Metal. That there was the Stern. There's a scene with a cartoon with called Stern, and it was this dude with this enormous chin who was on trial. And if you guys know the movie, you would know what I'm talking about. But um, yeah. And on Tubi, actually, there's a documentary about um, Kubrick's films and the symbolism in them. And I had no idea how deep his symbolism was in his films. They break down The Shining, and wow, like it's loaded and loaded with symbolism that, again, if you weren't really, I don't know, like into Kubrick's worldview, you wouldn't get these things. And like the films all kind of interconnect with each other with these sort of like secret codes, coded symbols, and what have you. Um, it's kind of, in a weird way, it's almost like neurotic, that he did all that. I want to act. I can act just like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Awesome. I would love to see that. Heavy Metal is awesome. Yeah, Heavy Metal is another one of those coming of age movies for me when I was young, and my buddy, and I don't know, he had it on, and we saw it at his place. This was the buddy that was my cartoon drawing friend, and like when he saw it before I did, and then he just came into school and it was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, you got to see this film. And because we had both been, collecting Heavy Metal magazine, and you know doing comics together, and da da da, all that stuff. So, I knew the movie existed, but like he had seen it before me. So finally, when I got a chance to go over and see it, man, it just mind blowing. And of course, I know by like today's standards, it's not. You know, I guess it's probably cheesy, but when you're young, you see things differently. Especially when you're a young budding artist. Um, Um, One of the things that I am interested in regarding acting is the physicality of it. Have you guys seen The Revenant? The Revenant with Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci? No, Leonardo DiCaprio. Sorry. um, it's I would say the physicality of that film is more intense than any film I've ever seen. Like the shit he had to go through to make that film physically must have been like extraordinarily uncomfortable and borderline dangerous, you know. Uh, you ever seen Rock and Rule? No, I can't say I've even heard of it. It's kind of like heavy metal in that it's a fantasy animation movie that I think is better than heavy metal. Oh shit, now I'm gonna have to write that down. Rock and Rule. Oh dear. All right, I will remember it. Can I find it on YouTube? Rock and Roll. Is it like Fire and Ice or something like that? Is it Rock and Roll? Does it have like a cool soundtrack? I bet with a name like that, it probably does. It's funny, the financier of this graphic novel, I sent him some, the pages that I've been doing, and he says, the artwork is better than before, if I may be so bold. And that, like I said, it's been probably at least 2 years since we did the first half of the book to now, and I've been drawing a lot since then. I've been doing my own comics, and my skills have improved. So I think it's kind of tricky in that regard. I think, yeah, how do you bridge it, right? Excuse me. I think that you can. I have a DVD. Oh, I gotta read that copy of it, but I'm sure you can find it. Da, da, da. There's two versions of it, though. Really, that's odd. Yes, it's really cool soundtrack. I posted one of the songs from it on Odyssey. So, tell me, like, what are some of the musicians and the songs that are on this? Well, I'm liking this music because it doesn't have commercials. Um, I don't want to jinx myself, though. Oh boy. So I do work tomorrow, but not until noon. So I can kind of cruise at my own pace here a bit tonight. Um, Geez, I feel like I'm not very interesting tonight. I'm just like normally I'm chatterbox like crazy. I don't know what's wrong with me. Pretty boring stream. They're available on channel. Okay. Iggy Pop, Blondie, Cheap Trick, Lou Reed. Cool. Search and Destroy by Iggy Pop. Great tune. Um, I want punk rock. Now there's a topic. When I went to college, I'm an art student, so obviously I'm around other art students, creative people, and there was a kind of interesting crossover of I don't know what to say, like punks and um, alternative rock people, and you'd kind of think that these things were opposite each other, but there was a lot of interaction. Probably maybe because we were all in the same classes together or something like that. But I used to kind of think those scenes were kind of different, in some way. You got like goth girls over here, and then you know Mohawk guys over there, and something, and somehow it just all came together, and we'd go to each other's house parties and stuff, and this is just a really vibrant scene. It was a very vibrant scene. A lot of fun. Shit, that up, damn it. Um, Oops, sorry, I'm off center here. Let me back out a bit. This is a good song. Okay. No, 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 no. Nowadays, it's like the bass music scene and the quasi hippie scene, like the Grateful Dead throwovers that like have nowhere to go. They seem to be coalescing. Um, Not really. I mean, I it's funny because like I like bass music, but I'm not into the scene of it. Like it's just sort of young blue collar family dudes, that are kind of just into partying their life away, kind of thing. Oh shit! Sorry, I'm off center here. Um, let's see, I posted a link to one of the songs from the movie. I don't know. It was auto deleted. So that brings up an interesting topic. I wanted to do a stream tonight. The documentary that I was telling you guys about earlier about the migrant or the illegal immigrant crisis. Where the like these guys from Project Veritas are actually you know on the same migrant path, and they're documenting the whole thing. I thought like well, and I was looking for the like a link to that, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I did manage to get to Project Veritas's page, but then I couldn't find it on the page. And I kind of thought, well, it might be one of those like for members only type thing. Somehow or other, it got posted on Steve Bannon's uh, Telegram, and not only that, it's the actual video. Like you could see that it was like downloaded, as a video file, not as a link, and I was so blown away by it that I thought, man, this news has to get out. So what I'll do is I will live stream the documentary off of Telegram and onto my YouTube. Then I thought, shit, I could see YouTube like getting very pissy about that. They could. I mean, would I even have my channel shut down for that? You know what I mean? Because it's not only it's someone else's copyrighted material, but it's exposing the entire um, illegal migrant pathway and who's behind it all and all that shit. So, but then I thought, well, I could put it on. Excuse me, I could put it on my Rumble, and then it just kind of struck me like, am I breaking copyright laws? Is kind of the thing, and I almost so I might still do it. I haven't sort of figured that out quite yet. I might still uh, put it out there. Oh my god, it's almost 11. No wonder I'm fucking tired. Because I worked a full day today as well. So I think what I'm gonna maybe do here is wrap it up. It's probably been a pretty long show. I don't really remember when I started the show. I think like around, was it 8? I don't know, 8:30. I don't know. I'm pretty dead tired though, guys. Sorry, I'm so boring today. I started off hot and heavy, and then it seemed like you guys were just really into some kind of conversation, and I can't stop my work to like get into every single you know chat post. So I thought, you know what, I'll let you guys run with it, and I'm just going to get my work done. So that's that. Anyway, God bless you all, love you all. Thank you so much for everything, and I will see you again shortly. Okay. Yes, have a wonderful evening, and see you soon.